Welcome back to Deb's True Crime Notebook. It's day 15 in the trial. Let's see what happened. At 1:34 p.m., Judge Gold enters the courtroom, and proceedings resume without the jury present. She remarks that the report from Westcott falls under totem pole hearsay, clarifying that unless the state can provide specific examples of hearsay, she will allow it. The jury returns to the courtroom at 1:37 p.m. Defense attorney Jennifer Auger calls Jamie Jones, who is Richard Allen's half-sister. She informs the jury that Allen is 5 years her senior and that they shared their childhood together. Jones states that Allen got married shortly after returning from the military service. She asserts to the jury that Allen did not ever molest her or touch her inappropriately when Auger inquires. "Do you love your brother?" Jones replies, "Yes." Auger then asks, "Would you lie for him?" To which Jones responds, "No." Auger concludes her direct examination. At 1:42 p.m., the prosecutor, James Luttrell, begins his cross-examination. He asks Jones, "Does the name Chris ring a bell?" Auger objects, noting that they were discussing neighborhood children from their upbringing. The objection is upheld, and Luttrell moves on. At 1:43 p.m., the defense called Brittany Saponta, daughter of Richard Allen, to the stand. Richard smiled at her, but she did not make eye contact with him. Saponta informed the jury that she moved out in 2015 for a job and currently works in urgent care. She mentioned attending Ball State before relocating to Indianapolis. Auger inquired, "Did your father molest you?" To which Saponta replied, "No." When asked, "Would you lie for him?" she responded, "No." The defense concluded its direct examination of her. At 1:44 p.m., Luttrell commenced his cross-examination, questioning Saponta whether she and her father frequently visited the trail and if they had ever gone to the Monon High Bridge. Auger objected to both inquiries. Luttrell then asked Saponta if Allen had altered his appearance after she departed for Ball State, to which she answered no. He proceeded to ask about Allen's height and weight, but Auger objected again. Luttrell presented Saponta with photographs of Allen, prompting Auger to request to approach the bench. After the sidebar concludes, Luttrell presents Saponta with additional photos, inquiring if any resemble her father from February 2017. She affirms that they do. However, the gallery does not view the images. Auger raises an objection, stating that the photos exceed the scope of questioning, prompting another sidebar discussion. Judge Gull upholds the objection. At 1:56 p.m., the jury begins asking questions to Saponta. She shares with them that she visited the bridge during her teen years and crossed the High Bridge with her father. Having done so only 1 or 2 times in total, Allen can be seen smiling as Saponta departs. The defense calls Shelby Hicks to the stand. Hicks, a realtor, reveals that she was 23 years old in 2017. She informs the jury that on February 13, 2017, she took her car for repairs and then went hiking with her boyfriend. She states they arrived at the trails around 2:30 p.m. and parked in the connector lot. Defense attorney Andrew Baldwin attempts to steer her response towards mentioning the Mears entrance. Baldwin inquires if anyone else was parked there besides her, to which she replies that there were other vehicles present. Hicks mentions that they walked toward the highway for about 5 minutes before heading to the High Bridge. She informs the jury that it takes approximately 10 to 15 minutes to reach the bridge, noting that they encountered an older gentleman, 2 girls from school, and a few other kids. Hicks recounts seeing an older man with a camera and recognizing Cheyenne and Shelby Duncan from school. She tells the jury that she arrived first on the bridge's platform and greeted her high school friends. Hicks states that she spent 15 to 20 minutes on the platform before returning to her car with her boyfriend. She adds that she cannot recall whether other cars were present when they left. Hicks recounts that the following day her boyfriend Daniel expressed an interest in reporting their observations to authorities. They went to the police station but were asked to return later. They made their way back that evening. Hicks tells the jury that she did not hear anything while on the bridge. She had meetings with law enforcement on 2 occasions, first on February 14, 2017, and again on March 2017. She adds that the police never asked to access her phone for any data extraction. At 2:23 p.m., prosecuting attorney Stacey Diener begins her cross-examination. Hicks confirms that her cellular provider in 2017 was Sprint. She states to the jury that she has never crossed the High Bridge and reveals that on that day she left the platform before her friends returned. The jury poses questions. Question 1. Was the man with the camera elderly? Hicks responds affirmatively. Question 2. Did you reach the bridge at 2:55? Hicks replies, could have been. At 2:29 p.m., the defense calls Steve Mullen to the stand. The defense presents Mullen with a list of white Ford Focuses registered in Cass, Carroll, and Tippecanoe counties from 2011 to 2017. Baldwin states that he focused solely on vehicles similar to Allen's. Prosecutor McClellan objects to the exhibit, claiming it lacks certification. Baldwin inquires about the number of individuals who own comparable hatchback models in Carroll County or nearby areas in 2017. Mullen admits he does not know. Baldwin states that Mullen created a log of missing interviews, but he mentions that Mullen did not bring this up during the hearings in March. As Baldwin raises his voice, he quickly apologizes to the judge. When Mullen reviews the transcript from the March hearing, he acknowledges that there was no log at that time. He informs the jury that the log has been found in the filing cabinets from the beginning, and it admits to having located it since his testimony in March. Baldwin then inquires about Libby's phone, prompting McClellan to request a sidebar discussion. Baldwin mentions that Dr. Walla was a fan of Delphi sites and questions whether it would be significant to determine if a van was talked about on social media. Mullen replies that he did not investigate that. Baldwin counters, stating that there were numerous references to a van on social media, adding that Mullen is unaware of what Wallace said while attending to Allen. At 2:45, the jury asked questions of Mullen. Number 1, why would anyone discuss a van prior to Allen's confession? Mullen says, that's why we looked into this. That was the first we heard of it. Baldwin asked Mullen if they had ever heard of a white van 30 minutes outside of Delphi with a suspicious thin man asking kids if they wanted candy. Mullen says he does not recall. At 2:48 p.m., the defense called Brad Weber. The reporter notes Weber seems extremely disheveled. Baldwin asked him why he was upset when they talked before. Weber says, I was upset because you were trying to tell me what I did when I got off work. Baldwin handed him a transcript from an FBI interview Weber did in February of 2017. Weber tells the jury he went on a 3-day trip to Arizona and got back the Sunday before the girls died. Baldwin inquires about Weber's ATM machine business. Weber explains that he earns revenue from surcharges but cannot specify how many machines he had in 2017. He recalls having 30 at one point, but currently he has 15. Weber informs the jury that he checks on his ATMs daily, monitoring their cash levels and withdrawing money from the bank. Although he doesn't remember which bank he used in 2017, he believes it was Regions Bank. He mentions that his ATMs are located in various places such as gas stations, taverns, and restaurants. To service these machines, he used a black Subaru. Currently, he banks with Regions. Although he doesn't always go to the same branch, on the day of the murders, he stated that he went directly home after finishing his shift at Subaru plant. Weber informs the jury that no one from law enforcement instructed him to visit a police station last August. Instead, they directed him to a different location, he mentions. It could have been Steve Mullen who called, he adds. The only time I used my van was when I was towing a trailer. Weber recounts that on February 13, 2017, he took a nap after returning home from work and woke up around 5 p.m. when someone knocked on his door. Baldwin inquires, do trespassers come onto your property? To which Weber replies affirmatively. He states he did not hear any screaming that day and mentions he owned a home in Lafayette in 2017 and had a trailer. Weber tells the jury that he granted law enforcement permission to enter his house, although this did not occur on February 13, 2017. He clarifies that his van was on the grass while the Subaru was parked in the driveway. Baldwin presents a photo of his garage taken on February 19, 2017. McClellan raises an objection regarding the photo, but Judge Gull allows it to be admitted. McClellan requests a sidebar. At 3:20 p.m., McClellan initiates his cross-examination. Weber states that law enforcement pulled him over a few times while he was heading home, likely on February 17, 2017. He mentions that someone searched through his belongings on February 13th. He verifies that he spoke with law enforcement on February 17th and asserts that he went directly home from work on February 13th, 2017. At 3:26 p.m., the jury posed several questions to Weber. Number 1, do you know if the ATMs have photo or video footage of servicing? Weber responded, not the actual ATMs, but some of the locations do. 2, how far in advance must you order cash for the ATMs? Weber indicated that acquiring cash isn't an issue, but it requires a week's notice. 3, what is the procedure for clocking out of work? Weber replied, turnstile. 4, which driveway do you use at home? Weber stated the driveway under the Monon High Bridge. 5, do you drive under the bridge? Would you have taken that route on February 13, 2017? Weber confirmed yes. And 6, do you usually go home before servicing your ATMs? Weber answered no. The defense has announced that they have no additional questions for today, and the jury has vacated the courtroom. They plan to call former State Trooper Kevin Murphy to testify, who would have stated that incident command consistently indicated that multiple individuals were involved in the investigation. However, the prosecution objected to this testimony. After the jury departed, Baldwin mentioned he had an offer of proof regarding third-party suspects. He asked if Allen had asked the police, was my spit found on one of the girls? In response, Judge Gull reminded the defense, we've discussed this numerous times, you lack evidence connecting these individuals to the crime. Baldwin reiterated his offer of proof concerning third-party suspects, asserting, I believe there is more than a nexus. And that concludes day 15 in the Richard Allen trial. Thank you guys for sticking there with us, and we'll do our best to bring you as much information as possible. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell for all notifications, leave us a message, and share this video with your friends and in groups. We'll see you tomorrow morning.